Hey there, YouTubers. Like the title says, we're going to take a boat out on Lake Superior. It's a glass bottom boat, so you're going to see some shipwrecks, which is kind of cool. Lake Superior has a lot of those. Also, one of the oldest lighthouses on Lake Superior. And then Grand Island and its cool coastline that reminds me more of the Apostle Islands than Pictured Rocks here. But this is a good boat tour. Hope you like it. And you should do this trip yourself.
The American Civil War began. A ship called the Bermuda was constructed up in Oswego, New York. She hauled cargo across the Great Lakes for 10 years until October of 1870. Sailing north of the island into some rough weather, decided to escape the storm by making a run for Munising. They were taking out a lot of water because it was overloaded and it was heavily raining, so it was leaking at the seams as well. They sailed it into this bay. They pulled it up onto the shoreline of the mainland, directly back behind us. They tied it off to some trees. Captain and first mate hiked to the only nearby settlement that was here at the time to telegraph in what their position was. 3 crewmen stayed on board the ship to pump water out of it. Sometime during the night, it's been assumed that these men, they had to have fallen asleep. The ship slowly filled up with water, and when it became so heavy, it ripped away from the shoreline, taking the trees it was tied to right by the roots. It sunk so fast into 70 feet of water, they did not have time to escape, and they did go down with their ship. Those sailors are not down there today. They were recovered a few days after the accident, and eventually they were buried on a small historical cemetery located here on Grand Island. 14 years went by and a Canadian salvage company wanted the cargo that was still on board the shipwreck. They did not want to conduct their operations anywhere near where the city of Munising is today. Too much shipping traffic at the time, too dangerous to do what they wanted to do. Here's what they did now, imagine this. In 1884, they hoisted an entire ship right off of the bottom of Lake Superior. They used canvas straps, chains, steam-powered tugboats. They towed it underwater over here to, because now we get to come out here and look at it and show it to you about 154 years later.
Those of you in the front viewing, well, I promise you are going to see it. It's just going to feel like it takes a bit. That centerboard hatch backs right up to the next opening. That's the forward cargo hatch. More of the iron ore.
I'm again probably going to show you more than you need to see, but come here anyways on your own and check this out. It's pretty cool. It's in such good shape because Lake Superior stays so cold, never above 55, so it protects the ship. It's been here 154 years.
Water's cold enough, I guess.
Love the ship. But when attached to the ship's wheel, still attached to the ship's rudder down below.
The views from this catamaran, and there was many places to look, were just really impressive. You could see it so well, obviously. Look at this.
Still pretty important to us today. We don't have lights on the bottom of the boat. It's all just natural light. And surprisingly enough, a bright, cloudy day like it is right now, it's actually one of the best days for viewing because it evens out the light and we don't get big pockets of shadow underneath the boat.
The crew provided us with so much information, so if you're into history, this is your kind of thing.
And our shipwreck is in pretty good condition, and that's because most of Lake Superior is really cold. The average temperature is about 45 degrees, so we don't get the big carpets of algae, zebra mussels, or quagga mussels that tend to grow on wrecks and warmer lakes.
Just because I showed you the whole wreck, don't make that stop you from coming here.
Yeah. You're gonna save me room on that door?
I'm sorry, you're not gonna be able to get on the door.
Not enough room.
It's community.
So there's Sam.
Up ahead of us on the mainland, you can see Sandpoint Beach in the distance, one of the more popular beaches in Munising. Grand Island is a very pristine place. There is one little spot of graffiti here. We're about to pass it right now. The sophomores of 67 were here. There's still troublemakers in town today. Candace Braithwaite. They were a pretty smart class, and they almost spelled sophomores right.
They did not smell. Here's the demon.
The Grand Island East Channel Lighthouse is one of the oldest lighthouses built on the Great Lakes. They began building most of these structures after 1855 when the Soo Locks opened for shipping traffic. This particular one was constructed during the summer of 1867. The longest running keeper of it was George Pryor. He lived out here with his wife. They raised 2 of their children here. They were actually born in the building. He made about $400 a year. They stayed here for over 40 years. The lighthouse was completely abandoned by 1913. Better forms of navigational aids came into use. There is a set of channel markers up ahead of us and to the right. Those red and green buoys mark the safe area for ships to come through. There's also a laser navigational light back behind us in the city of Munising. It's glowing red at us right now. It picks up every boat on the bay, even those kayaks out there, shows them a specific color.
This is about where a couple winters ago we walked across to the ice caves from Sandpoint over to Grand Island, maybe about a mile. I got a video, maybe I'll put it in the description.
Evergreens growing above. Sometimes we see big orange stripes. These are rusting iron ore deposits. There are many little streams and rivers that make their way to the edge of the island to form beautiful little waterfalls. There are 2 inland lakes here. There's Echo Lake and Duck Lake. Echo Lake is the larger of the 2. It's pretty big. It's about a half a mile wide and a mile across. We've had so much rain here this year that trees are literally falling off of the top of the cliffs all the time.
Grand Island really reminds me of the Apostle Islands in Wisconsin, which isn't far from here. Looks more like that than the rest of Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore if you were to take that cruise.
This might be a good time for you to get that new profile photo that you've been wanting.
You okay?
Every one of us knows that pictures like this will never do it justice, but I sure hope you can see just how beautiful this is.
As we back up, I would suggest maybe doing it off the back of the boat.
Here comes the second shipwreck.
30 feet of water into our big debris field. And then we're going back up onto the rock reef. That's what they ran into. Remember, they were heading towards Munising Bay, full speed ahead, blinding snowstorm, thinking they're clear of the reef. Turned out they were not. They ran into that, shot the bow up 3 feet out of the water, landed on top of the reef. Overall, it wasn't coming into view now.
This is so good because Lake Superior is just so friggin' clear.
Uses railroad track and their own little railway system now, move cargo around. sometimes as long as we are, I would rather not carry cargo that far either. 3 big beams, big bolts as we got them. The bolts are about 5 feet long. That's the engine bed section. 485 horsepower steam engine would have sat right there.
Probably still showing you way too much. I used to have a boat, and I tell you, the captain's ability to keep this right over where she wanted it to be was pretty darn impressive. Especially this being Lake Superior.
Ship off the reef, sat out there for 3 years, sticking out of the water by 20 to 30 feet. It was a navigational hazard. We have that wheel down there, not the ship's wheel, it's a pulley wheel. Used to hoist lumber or maybe some barrel cargo up onto the deck of the ship.
Now, there's very few of you that I know. I'm just trying to help you find cool places you could go to.
White boxes, white lid paint still stuck on the nail heads. Nice fresh coat of paint here she went down. A lot of damage done to the end of the port side. More wave and ice action out here. Alright folks, that is all of the shipwrecks we have for you today. We're going to head back in towards the dock. We'll stop by the East Channel Lighthouse one more time, give you one more look at that. And again, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to let us know.
If you're still watching, you must be into shipwrecks a little bit, or just love the UP and Lake Superior. I haven't included any music in this video. There's been times where I didn't say anything at all. I'm just sharing cool stuff. Please don't get seasick.
One day would be cool to do, but they got a dinner sunset cruise. But you don't eat on the boat. You don't? You eat in a restaurant. And then you push on the boat. Oh, really?
Babylon, 25 years ago, saved the lighthouse from collapsing in on itself.
So here we are. You made it to the end. That was a 3-hour boat trip. I think $38 a person, and we really enjoyed it. We think you would too. You'd have a great and wonderful day.